Let's learn about how does Azure Cloud Shell work. Let's take an example to understand this concept. As an IT administrator at Contoso Corporation, you were on call when critical Azure virtual machine became unresponsive during scheduled maintenance. Although you were away from your regular workstations, you accessed the Microsoft Azure portal through a browser, launched Azure Cloud Shell, and connected to an Azure file share to retrieve your diagnostic scripts. Using these tools, you quickly identified and resolved the issues successfully, restoring the VM to the normal operation, all without needing your primary setup. This scenario mentioned here, it demonstrates the power of Azure Cloud Shell, now allowing you to securely manage and troubleshoot resources from anywhere just using a browser. Now let's understand how does Azure Cloud Shell work. You have few different options for accessing Azure Cloud Shell. First one is from a direct link. So let's say here we have a link. Like this is the direct link, for working as an Azure Cloud Shell. Like if you wanted to work in Azure Cloud Shell. So this is the direct link here. So this is the one of the methods to work in Azure Cloud Shell. So the direct link portal.azure.com and Cloud Shell. So next option here is you can access it from the Azure portal. So this is the Azure portal here. So this is the symbol of Cloud Shell. So when you click here, it will be opened like this. In addition to this, there is one more method to run this Azure Cloud Shell. That is basically from Microsoft Learn site. Let's say here we are preparing for Azure 103 certification. So here you will get all the modules relating to that. So let's say I wanted to open this, right? And then here let's say I am going for examining Microsoft Entra ID and all that stuff. So here um, that will be relating to I would say, so that is from the code snippets when you are accessing Microsoft Learn. So you can just click here on try it and it will be automatically opened. So when you open a Cloud Shell session, a temporary host is allocated to your session. This VM is pre-configured with the latest versions of PowerShell and Bash. You can then select the command line experience that you wanted to use. So you can switch to Bash and from Bash to PowerShell. After you select the shell experience you want to use, you can start managing your Azure resources. So Cloud Shells, terminate after 20 minutes of inactivity. When a session terminates, files on your cloud drive, they are persisted, but you need to start a new session to access the Cloud Shell environment. You can also access your own scripts, or I would say or you can run your own scripts or use files for different actions. You can persist files or on Cloud Shell by using the Azure Cloud Drive. After uploading the files, you can interact with them as you would in a regular PowerShell or a Bash session. Now that your files resides on Cloud Drive, you can close the session and open another session, new session here on a different device and still access the same file. So Cloud Shell also lets you map an Azure storage file share which is tied to a specific region. Access to an Azure file share, it lets you work with contents of that share through Cloud Shell. If you need to edit scripts hosted on the cloud drive or file share, you can use the Cloud Shell editor. You can select curly braces icon on the browser and open the file you want to edit, or you can use the command code, let's say temp.txt. You know, you can use this command and specify the file name. So the file name we have here is temp.txt. The code that we use, like code command, that only works in classic mode in Cloud Shell. To enable the classic mode, you can select the more icon. Here from settings you can go to the more icon, and then you can go to the classic version, so it will be back to the classic version. So this was the most important part relating to how to get started with Azure Cloud Shell and how Azure Cloud Shell work. In the next video we will be understanding Cloud Shell tools. Thank you for watching.